Well, Draymond Green is certainly going to be a topic of discussion on today's episode between the comments on his podcast today, responding to Dillon Brooks, his actions on the court in that OKC Thunder game. So we're going to break that down and the prospects for the Warriors for the remainder of the season. It's International Women's Day, and I thought, who better than Jannelle Moore of Andscape and the San Jose Mercury News? She joins me next. This is Locked On Warriors.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Warriors your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts. You can follow Jannelle Moore, who now writes for Andscape. Jannelle, I am so proud of you. I literally just found this out before we started recording. And I'm so excited about you that I honestly just brain farted on your Twitter handle. Tell the listeners and viewers, how can people follow you on Twitter?
Follow me at Jannelle12. That is Jannelle and the number 12. And you can also follow me on Instagram. I am Writer Diva on there.
I love that name, by the way. Great handle. So Writer Diva on Instagram, Jannelle12 on Twitter. You can follow me, Cyrus Saatsaz, on Twitter at Dog Surf Roadshow. Jannelle, it's so good to have you back on. It's International Women's Day. I couldn't think of a better guest to have on this day. Draymond Green, who has been in the news for some things are for the right reasons, some things are for the wrong reasons. Let's start with, why don't we start with the play that was really unfortunate. And for anyone who is unsure about what I'm talking about, in the Oklahoma City Thunder game, right before halftime, Draymond Green was asking for a pass from Jordan Poole. He was open in the paint. I could understand why Draymond wanted the ball and why he was upset. But again, leaders should not act out like that. When he didn't get the ball, he pouted, had a little tantrum, and just walked away. Did not even play defense. There was a turnover because of his actions, because Clay tried to pass Draymond the ball as he was turning around. Steve Kerr, in an interview today, said that him and Draymond spoke about the incident at halftime. He agreed that it's a situation that should not happen. But nonetheless, it's weird. It's a little concerning. Maybe it's a little symbolic of the season as a whole. Jannelle, what was your interpretation? What was your reaction to seeing Draymond Green act the way he did?
I think it is symbolic of the way the season has gone. It's just really been out of character and weird, in terms of how the season is going. But as far as the play goes, I'm curious to what led up to that. I wonder if there was any progression towards that play. Because sometimes it's not the play, it's successions that go to that.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if something was building towards what happened.
Well, I mean, clearly Jordan Poole rubs the veterans the wrong way. I mean, it's not like this is the first time this has happened. I mean, the infamous punch, everyone knows about that when Draymond literally clocked Jordan Poole during a practice. We know about the incident where Steph Curry lost his cool and chucked his mouthpiece and got a technical for that. And it was because of Jordan Poole, I think with an ill-advised shot that he took. And now Draymond Green acts out again. Yeah, I mean, Jordan Poole, we talked about him before. You write sometimes for the San Jose Mercury News as well. We might see some work from you in the postseason, depending on if the Merc opens up their pocketbook. I hope they do, because I love your content. You wrote this great story about a year and a half ago regarding the Santa Cruz Warriors, the whole developmental side of things for the Warriors. And Jordan Poole was a huge focus of your story because of the fact that he really changed his game and flipped a style of play that was not working around. And it awarded him with a big deal. He's a permanent part of this team. But Jordan Poole this year has been rubbing some people the wrong way. And his scoring's up a little bit. His assists are up a little bit. He's playing almost the same amount of minutes as he did last year in the 30-minute range, but his shooting is down in terms of shooting percentage. His three-point shooting percentage is down. His field goal percentage is down. His turnovers are up a little bit. His turnovers have gotten better, in my opinion, recently, but that's been a concern. What is your take on Jordan Poole? Because you're right. Maybe maybe like Draymond just kind of had enough of Jordan Poole's antics. He's been pushing buttons a lot. We talked about last time he came on, I think him maybe being like this annoying little brother for the team. What is your interpretation now, man? How is Jordan Poole to you now? Like, is he a benefit to this team? Is he becoming a detriment? Would love your thoughts on Jordan Poole.
But here's the thing. I don't really believe that he's rubbing these vets the wrong way per se. Again, this is what the progress of progression looks like. He is still a young player and he still has a lot to learn. He's not a complete product yet. Yeah, he may do some things that irk Dre, that irk Steph, that irk Andre. You know what I'm saying? Or Dre, but that's no different than a little brother relationship.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And I don't really think it's fair to say that he's rubbing them the wrong way. And the intentions are good. But the thing with Jordan, from what I see of him, is he's coming along, he's doing his thing, but, he has to keep that same offensive mentality no matter whether he's a starter or coming off the bench, because the production between him as a starter and him as a six man is night and day. And it's so much variance. And offensively, it shouldn't be that. He should have that same type of mentality.
Right.
I mean, as a whole, but sometimes if you're playing along Steph or Clay, you would have to defer a little bit. But if there's a lane to be aggressive and to strike, you do that.
Right.
If there's a lane for you to drive, opportunities for you to drive and go to the line, you do that. Don't be passive because Steph and Clay is there. That's what I mean by having that kind of same mentality at all times. May having to defer a little bit if you're out there with the core, but if you see an opportunity attack and go to the line, you do that. Don't be so passive, but be mindful of who you're playing with.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, and his 3-point shot attempts are up this year. Do you think he's shooting too many threes? That's the one. I feel like the one constructive criticism of Jordan Poole this year that I think has a little validity, which is I feel like he's forcing shots sometimes from deep. Like he thinks he's Stephen Curry. He's got the shoot mentality, but like you said, I agree with you. I don't think his progress has finished. He's still a work in progress. He's a player who we haven't seen the finished product. Like he's still growing as an individual. Do you think it's okay for Jordan Poole to have that shoot mentality and just to keep chucking it up even when he's having a bad shooting night? Or do you think maybe on a night where he's not feeling it, where he's having like a 1-for-6 shooting night, and his 3-point shooting is down this year, maybe attack the rim and use your athleticism and use your speed and find other ways to create? Like, what are your thoughts about whether or not maybe he's shooting too much from deep?
To be honest, I think the whole team is shooting too much from three. Because there have been opportunities throughout the season where the mindset should be attacking the paint, trying to get to the line. They may not get to the line, but try, damn it.
Yes.
And the mid-range is there too. So I can't see that that's a Jordan Poole problem. I think it's a Golden State Warriors problem, to be honest. But Jordan, I mean, it's good to have that shoot mentality, that to be aggressive, but you have to be smart. Mm-hmm. Like I said before, get to the line if you can. Drive downhill if you can.
Mm-hmm.
Put pressure on the rim. I mean, not in the dunking sense, but having the defense collapse. Hell, you're going to drive and kick anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do.
And
I 100% follow.
And I would like to see more cuts.
Absolutely. No, and this is a team that I think last year, I haven't looked at the stats.
Last year, they were number 1 in cuts.
Exactly. Thank you. That was exactly what I was going to say, Jannelle. And I don't know where they are this year with that, actually. I need to look that up. But you're absolutely right. That's a great opinion that I wholeheartedly agree with. The other reason why Draymond Green was in the news was because of his podcast. And I'm going to now play a snippet from that podcast because Draymond Green responded to Dillon Brooks, who said in an interview with Tim Cohen of ESPN that he does not like Draymond Green. It was a brash, direct thing to say. And look, I don't think any of us expected Draymond Green to just sit back and not respond to this. So Draymond hosted a live episode of his podcast today, and this was his response.
This idiot said, I don't know what Draymond does out there. He said, I don't like Draymond at all. You don't know me. I just don't like Golden State. I quite frankly wouldn't like a team that beats me all the time either. I don't like anything to do with them. Quite frankly, you were a little kid in high school watching us win championships. Should be happy that you even witnessed that, or maybe college, but you get the point. You're a fan. Draymond talks a lot. You talk a lot now, so if you have 4 rings, sure, you talk a lot more. For All-Stars, you probably talk a bit more. Defensive Player of the Year, you for damn sure would talk more. 2 Olympic gold medals, you definitely would be talking, because that would mean you beat Team USA, and we all know how that goes. So, gets away with a lot, too. What exactly do I get away with? I have 15 texts, 1 less than your dumb ass. Okay, great. His game is cool. If you ever wondered why the Memphis Grizzlies is not ready to compete for a championship, look no further than this idiot right here. They're actually depending on this guy to help them win a championship. And he says his game is cool. Quite frankly, that just shows how little you know about basketball. And yet, you running around talking about a dynasty? The dynasty starts after you, not with you. He plays with heart, knows the ins and outs of the defense. I want to be quite frank, I made the ins and outs of our defense. I guess that's why they like him over there. I'm trying to figure out why they like you in Memphis. Or do they like you in Memphis? That's a better question. I'm not sure your teammates like you, but I can tell you why they like me over there. When you contribute in the way that I have contributed to 4 championships, they tend to like you. So, next time you speak up on me, you should do some fact checking. Next time you speak up on me, you should do some soul searching. Next time you speak up on me, I hope you're in a better situation than you in now, where the guys you play with actually enjoy playing with you because they actually think you're contributing to winning. Because it ain't happening right now, champ. You're not a champ. You're a clown. It ain't happening for you.
Oh my God. Oh, he eviscerated him. When we come back, Jannelle, we'll talk about that. I'd love to get your reaction. Yeah, and all I'll say is I think even Grizzlies fans will tip their cap to Draymond for that rant right there. More with Jannelle Moore in just a moment. I'm really geeked out by our new partner and the sponsor of today's episode, the mobile game Ultimate Pro Basketball GM. Have you ever dreamed of becoming an NBA GM and managing your basketball franchise? Well, your dream can come true, and this game is definitely for you. Manage every strategic aspect of your team, play through the season, and lead your team to glory. You're responsible for hiring the right coaches and assistants, trading players, training players, drafting players, navigating your franchise through free agency and the draft and all the ups and downs of a season. The hosts with Locked On NBA have all been playing together in a league. It's fun. It's addictive. And if you need something in life that'll help you burn hours, if not days at a time, of just pure fun, if you love hoops, this is for you. Check it out for sure. Locked On Warriors listeners get a 100% free boost to their franchise when you use the promo code Locked On in the game store. So make sure to check it out. To download the game, just visit probasketballgm.com. You can scan the code below or look it up on the app stores. That's probasketballgm.com. Ultimate Basketball GM. Start your dynasty today.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Warriors your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts. You can follow Jannelle Moore, a writer for Andscape of ESPN, of Mark Spears fame, and the San Jose Mercury News, among a lot of publications, at Jannelle12. That's Jannelle with 2 N's and 2 L's. And you can also follow Jannelle on Instagram at Writer Diva. Did I get that right? Writer Diva? Okay. Draymond Green. I absolutely took joy and pleasure listening to him eviscerate Dillon Brooks. What was your reaction to that clip?
Draymond talks more trash than a landfill. And you know what? On this one, I love it. Absolutely love it, because Dillon asked for it. He evoked the smoke and he got it.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And it's not really trash talk when it's facts.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that Draymond said was true. You know, he knows the ins and outs of the defense because that's his lane, and he created it.
Yep.
4-time champion, medalist, you know, and Dillon ain't really won anything. And haven't really contributed substantially to Memphis' success.
Mm-hmm.
It's Jazz, Desmond Bain. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Jaren Jackson Jr. All Dillon Brooks know how to do is hack.
I love Draymond.
And some of the fans don't really, some of the Grizzly fans don't really rock with him like that.
Right.
Not
Right.
the ones that I've been seeing on the timeline. I mean, I would say that they tolerate him because, you know, he's on the team, but you know, you don't really hear Ja or Jaren Jackson Jr. or Desmond really talk as much trash as Dillon does.
True. Yeah,
John and them have to write those checks. I mean, have to cash those checks. I mean,
yes, yes, ma'am. You're absolutely yes.
And sometimes it's the same with Draymond. Steph have to cash those checks that Draymond writes. So, you know,
it's funny. It's entertaining. The timing of it is impeccable, simply because most likely, if you're watching this, it's the day of the Warriors playing the Grizzlies. Maybe you're watching this the night we're recording this, which is we're recording this on March 8th. It's around 9 p.m. right now, Pacific time. Ja Morant will not play in that game tomorrow, which is going to be on TNT. Dillon Brooks, all indications are he will play. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent, by the way, after this year. Curious to know who's going to take a role on him. I still will never forgive him for the play on Gary Payton II. Never mind the fact that it was utterly dirty, but I also just a lack of remorse. And so kudos to Draymond Green for the incredible rant. And we'll see how that game goes. The fireworks are certainly the fuse is about to get lit for it should be an exciting game. Any inclination for that game before we move on from the Grizzlies? Like, do you think the Warriors, who are currently 0-2 on this road trip, who are currently owners of the third worst road record in the NBA, they've only won 7 road games all season. We're in March. Will they finally win a road game in Memphis? Your thoughts?
I wouldn't be surprised either way, because see, the Warriors have been dropping games on the road that against teams that they had no business losing to.
Right.
Case in point at OKC.
Right.
And you could even say the Lakers game, because they've been so close, but a defensive lapse here, a dry spell there on offense. I mean, it happens, but the Warriors end up beating the teams that they should not be beaten. And since Memphis and Golden State, they're having a fledgling rivalry, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they win tomorrow night. I wouldn't be a bit surprised either way, because, you know, they have a poor road record.
Yeah, horrible road record.
It could go either way.
This whole season's crazy. I'm gonna pick your brain just a minute about what's going on with this Warriors team in general. I want to play the soundbite from Steph and Curry, which did not make me feel good when I listened to it. This was following the OKC Thunder game. Let me share my screen here so we can actually watch the clip and listen to it. So this was Stephen Curry after the OKC Thunder game, saying that he's still confident.
Nice.
What's up?
His glasses are nice.
They are, nice. Yeah. Do you think, by the way, before I play that, you wear glasses, Jannelle? I wear glasses sometimes. Do you think Steph needs the glasses, or is that strictly fashion?
I think he needs them. And he just decided to wear them.
Yeah.
I think
because he's never worn them before.
Yeah, I think he got this thing called Cara. I mean, the initials are KC.
Okay.
I can't pronounce what kind of disorder he has, but he do have one. There was an article in the Athletic about that a few years ago.
Oh, okay. So he does have a slight vision.
I think it got context too, but hey, he gets good with them on. Nice frames.
Yeah, those are nice frames. Well, here's Steph with his beautiful glasses talking about the team's road struggles this year.
I'm always confident. That's why we show up. But we'd like to have something to show for it at some point. So we got another opportunity on Thursday against a great team that probably going to be a wild atmosphere, and we got to be ready for it. But confidence never wavers. It's just frustrating at times when you can't, get it done. And again, have something that says, yeah, we know how to win on the road with this particular team. So got another opportunity.
So when I saw that clip, that was the first time I saw Steph addressing the team's road woes, and with a look of concern on his face, I don't know. I'm not a body language expert. I don't know if anyone is, but just from my intuition, that did not look like someone who looks at the road issues as just something that's easily solvable. When we come back, Jannelle, I would love for you to give your reaction to that Steph clip and just talk about the road woes in general. And then I want to find out from you what you think about this Warriors team in terms of their postseason chances. I mean, the season is wrapping up. We don't have a lot to go. We got about a month. And right now, it's not looking good. So we'll talk about the Warriors and their prospects and so much more in just a moment. The midway point of the NBA season is here, and now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Then you can bet on everything from the money line to point scorers, threes drained. It's got everything you need. And you have no idea how ecstatic we here at Locked On are that FanDuel is our official sponsor because of the prestige and reputation and just the downright aspect of fun that comes with playing with FanDuel. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance to add a bigger payout with the same game parlay. So don't miss the chance to get your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Warriors your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts. You can follow Jannelle Moore, who now writes for Andscape. I'm so proud of you, girl. Part of ESPN, on Twitter at Jannelle12. That's 2 N's, 2 L's, and the number 12. You can also follow Jannelle on Instagram at Writer Diva, where she also writes about the Warriors for the San Jose Mercury News. I really wish they would be bringing you on for more bylines than what you're doing. But look, you would. Well, I hope we see some content from you, more content from you soon. We just listened to that Stephen Curry soundbite. Do you have similar sentiments than me? Do you think I'm looking way too much into it? in terms of not seeing the same confidence from Steph that I'm normally accustomed to seeing when he addresses the road woes this year. Your thoughts on Steph's comments, and if you want to add to that, just the team's road performances this year and what the hell's going on.
I mean, Steph is generally an optimistic person.
Right.
If he is feeling down or feeling concerned or even pissed off, he ain't gonna let you know it. So, you know, of course he does have confidence. You know, I think what I'm seeing from him in this instance is cautious optimism.
Yeah.
Knowing that, you know, they're struggling on the road and, you know, you don't know what to do. None of them know what to do. If they knew what to do, we wouldn't be having this conversation and the road record wouldn't even be a thing. But, you know, Steph is going to fight through it. And they all are. The road record is what it is at this point, and I think they know what they need to do, and they've done it in spurts, but not consistently. Consistency is the biggest issue.
Right. Right. And Jannelle, as I'm sure you know as well, role players, it's like a night and day thing in terms of production from them when they're playing at home and when they're playing on the road. To me, a huge reason why this team is struggling on the road is because they have a lot of not just role players, new role players, young role players, unproven role players. And some of these role players getting heavy minutes are two-way players. And so I don't think when you actually look at this roster on paper, it should be that surprising that the team is struggling the way they are on the road, because this bench is largely unproven outside of Dante DiVincenzo and maybe JaMychal Green, but even Green, I mean, you know, he hasn't been having that great of a season. It shouldn't be that surprising. But my question to you is, like, why do you think the Warriors constructed this roster the way they did, given that, you know, they got rid of all their veterans, replaced them with, again, DiVincenzo, JaMychal Green, and then the premise was play the youngsters a lot more, develop them, get them ready for the postseason. And Kerr decided, I'm not going to do that. Why do you think what do you think is going on here is what I'm trying to ask. Like, why do you think they put this roster together the way it was put together? Like, I don't know. Can you make sense of all of it? Your thoughts?
They let the vets walk because they thought that these young guys took a substantial step, and they haven't.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's what they wasn't expecting. Maybe that was unexpected. They thought the front office, talking about Joe, probably thought that they were ready to, but they were not. And to let most of the veterans walk, that was a mistake too, because you have to have that balance.
Yeah.
You know, you can't have just a whole bunch of vets and no young guys that, you know, have athleticism.
Yeah.
And, you know, a upside to where they can contribute.
Right.
On the other hand, you can't have a bunch of kids either that, you know, is trying to find their way in the league and, you know, how to help the team. You know, you have to have that balance, and that's what was missing. I mean, of course, you know, Bielitsa was, you know, going home. So, you know, you can't really fault him for that.
Right.
For all the crap that Damian Lee got last year from some fans, you know, he was good in the role that he was in.
Yeah.
You know, very, you know, solid. I mean, you know, he had his stretches to where he struggled, but, you know, I would rather have him on the team than Lamb.
Yes.
Or Ty Jerome. You
Hell
know.
yes. Hell yes.
And a bunch of G leaguers that, you know, that don't really fit. That, you know, they're just young.
Yeah. Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you.
And as far as JaMychal Green goes, I mean, you know, he had his struggles too, but there's been some patches to where he gets it. But that's not enough. DiVincenzo has really, you know, been a good find.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he has. I love DiVincenzo. I know the Warriors are limited in terms of what they can offer him, simply because, they're only paying him $4.5 million a year because they're strapped with the cap. They can't offer more than that. I think they can only offer like 5 or 10%. I got to get that figure, that exact number, but they could either offer him a minimal raise or give him a new mid-level exception, but give him the full mid-level this time, which could be in the 7, 8, 9 mil range. That number has not been determined yet. I just hope they bring him back. I love DiVincenzo. To me, he's a Warrior. I don't know where this team would be without him this year. What's your opinion on Steve Kerr and his whole attitude toward bigs? This has been going on for years now. To me, it goes way back to JaVale McGee, a player that I loved when he was on the Warriors. They won 2 championships with him. He wanted to stay. But Steve Kerr, that was like the beginning of the end of the Warriors and their experiment with centers. I mean, they've never really had a consistent natural center. I know Kevon Looney's a great center, but he wasn't drafted as a center, right? He was drafted as like a small forward, and he's kind of evolved into a center. There's still some bigs out there that the Warriors could add. It's really just frustrating seeing this team night after night getting pushed around and getting physically beat inside. What is your take on that? Like I know the Warriors won a title last year without a big, but to do it 2 years in a row, I don't know. Your thoughts on the whole?
You got to have some size to compete. I mean, I get the Warriors play better small, but you have to have some size to counteract, getting pushed around on the glass.
Yeah,
that's one of the biggest problems as to why they are where they are in the season. They don't really have the size. They don't have the size for a point of attack defense. They don't really have the size to protect the rim. And Draymond, I mean, him playing all that small ball center is why he sustained so many injuries as he has.
Yep.
But somebody like JaVale McGee would be perfect.
Yes.
All you do is, get in that dunker spot and go to work.
Right.
Catch the lobs, getting some pick and roll action. That's mostly in the playoffs though, but that'll give the Warriors some rim protection and a vertical threat.
Agreed. I don't understand. It's almost like such a strict aversion to bigs. Like it's almost like Kerr has like a bad taste in his mouth when just the idea of a center comes up. And I don't like seeing this team just getting bullied inside, basically. I mean, they're when it comes to points in the paint, they get outscored almost every game. I think I've only counted one game this year where the Warriors won that battle, and I think that's a huge reason for their struggles overall. I'll finish the show with this. In your opinion, what's going to happen with the Warriors in the postseason? There's not a lot of games left. I believe they're 34 and 32, which means there's 16 games remaining, if my math is correct. How do you think the season plays out? And is this team going to repeat as a world champion based on what you've seen so far?
I mean, 82 really don't matter to them. It's all about that 16, but at the same time, the 82 have to matter somewhat to get to said 16.
Right.
And they're just hovering around, trying to avoid the play-in.
Yep.
I think they will avoid the play-in. They'll be between like maybe the 5 or 6 seed, but for them to repeat, it's going to be tough. They really have to find that switch that they have. We know that they have that switch, and you can't really count them out.
Right.
But it's going to be a climb, and they dug themselves in a hole for, trying to have that 2 timeline thing.
Agreed. And I don't. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But, Steph is there. Clay is there. Draymond is there. And depending on if they get GP2 back or even Wiggins. Now that's really concerning me. I addressed that on Twitter.
What'd you say? What'd you write?
What I wrote was, I kind of cited the show because you said that there were some people that were grown frustrated.
Yeah.
With Wiggins.
I get DMs.
I'm concerned, man, because whatever family issues there are, I mean, it's not like him to miss that amount of time. And this is the same guy who told his fiance to hold off, labor so he could play. So this is not like him at all.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that it's family issues, and I hate to speculate, but I can't help but to question whether or not it's his issues alone.
Or if it's maybe like a family member of his, like one of his kids, possibly. Is that what you're insinuating?
Right. Or maybe him himself, because you never know. Family issues, it might be him also.
Yeah. Yeah, it is concerning. It's massively concerning.
It's really concerning. And I just hope that everything is well with him, his fiance, his children. I mean, just everybody. And he could find a way to make it back. But even if it takes the whole season, so be it, because basketball is important, but it's not that important in the grand scheme of things. So
correct. No, you're absolutely right.
We just have to be patient and just hope for the best, and and just keep it moving. Just hope for the best.
Yeah.
What's concerning? I saw on the timeline where people was DMing Andrew's Twitter account, and that's not cool at all.
Oh, there's like they're sending direct messages to Wiggins.
Yes.
Oh, that's not cool. Yeah, you got to leave the man alone. Come on. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, I just had two people DM me, and they were both older men. At least that was from their pictures. That's how I could interpret it. And they were just espousing opinions of like tough it out, and at a certain point, like what are you going to do? Just sit out the rest of the year? They were just griping. That was the extent of it. But yeah,
but that griping comes from the place of selfishness.
True.
Very true. Wanting to see the team get back.
Yep.
And I get that, but if he comes back and he's still in a fragile mental state, he won't be effective.
Great point. Great point.
So what are we really doing here?
We're just bitching and moaning. That's what these people are doing. They're just bitching and moaning. Yeah, it is a crazy situation. I hope he's okay. That really is what's most important. I think part of it too is just what's frustrating is the mystery of it. Like I think if people had some information about what's going on, it would quell this, this unrest. But
absolutely. I will read a tweet to me right now that really says that.
Okay.
Let me find it here.
And while you're doing that, I just want to let people know one more time, as we're wrapping up here, you can follow Jannelle Moore on Twitter, at Jannelle12, with 2 N's and 2 L's. You can follow Jannelle on Instagram at Writer Diva. Jannelle, you're now a writer for Andscape. This is the platform, part of ESPN, that I believe Mark Spears is. I don't know if he's the editor-in-chief, but I know he's one of the.
No, he's not. He is the senior writer for the NFL, the NBA side.
There you go. But it's really like I don't. Maybe I'm totally misstating this, but I feel like it's his baby. Is it? Is he one of the brainchilds of the platform, or no? Am I totally misrepresenting?
No, I don't think he is.
Okay.
If you look at the history of it, I think, and you'll be surprised, it was actually Jason Whitlock, but.
Oh, okay. Okay. But regardless, it's great content, and it's a great place to be a writer for. And I'm just super happy for you, Jannelle. That's awesome. And we might see.
I got the tweet right here.
Yeah, read it. Go for it.
His ad is Lightning 85. He says to me, frustrated as hell, concerned, but not sure how to feel exactly because we know nothing about it. And I think that's where a lot of people are with it. If we knew what was really going on, I think it'll be more digestible.
Yeah.
But since the Warriors are keeping it as, family, it's a family issue, a personal family matter, it leaves us open to speculation and leaves it open to, assumptions like, well, 9 days, if it's a family issue, it's like, well, we'll come back at work But see, it's different for Andrew. You can't really compare regular people to athletes.
Right. His situation. Yeah. And everybody's situation is different. Yeah. Everybody's situation is different. So I know I'm totally with you.
Yeah. His bosses give a little more grace than the rest of our bosses do.
Yeah. And that was the theme of the frustration from those two DMs, was that like the gripes were like, I could never get away with just missing work for a month and not explaining why. And it's like, well, every situation is different, and again, not to mention, it's not your prerogative. It's the Warriors' prerogative. So if they are cool with it, that's all that matters. Before we go, anything you'd like to touch on, anything you'd like to promote, anything that you feel like we didn't cover, floor is yours.
Well, for those who have been reading my stuff, you can now find me at Andscape.
Love it.
I've written so far my piece about the Rooney Rule, my piece about All-Star Weekend, and now next week, sometime, I don't know what day, but I'll be talking about Jokic in the MVP race.
Ooh.
Check me out at Andscape.
Are you? Is it too soon to ask what your thoughts are, or save that for the article?
My thoughts on the MVP race is closer than what people think it is. Joker has the numbers, but guess what? Embiid and Giannis have those numbers too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
They got those numbers too.
I do.
My piece is to break down his whole run and why voters voted the way they did. I actually got 4 voters in the piece, and they're under anonymity. Because they'll probably be voting again, and I don't want to blow up this spot, and I don't think that's integral anyway.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Oh, that's great. Don't you wish you voted? I would love to get a vote. It just drives me crazy that I don't get to, but what are you gonna do?
I don't care about a vote. I just care about being on in the media, sports media full time.
Oh, well, there you go. That too.
That's what I care about now. I don't care about no MVP vote. I want to be on full time instead of being a sports media mercenary. That's all that matters to me.
You're on the right track. Getting picked up by Andscape is huge. I'm so happy for you, Jannelle. Congratulations on that. And again, just folks out there, follow Jannelle on Twitter at Jannelle12 with 2 N's, 2 L's. That's obviously where you're publishing all your content. I personally believe Joel Embiid should be MVP. That's where my vote's going if I had a vote. And then again, you can also follow Jannelle on Instagram at Writer Diva. Congratulations on everything. I'm so happy to hear that you're writing for a great platform like Andscape. And let's get you back on soon, maybe during the playoffs. It's only a month away. We'll see what happens with this Warriors journey. This has been one hell of a year.
We'll see what happens with the Warriors, and even if they make the playoffs, maybe that'll be an extra bit of change coming in through the Mercury.
Because, there you go. Mm-hmm.
They'll have it for me for playoffs. Talking about playoffs?
You kidding me? I just want to win a game, any game. Yeah. Jim Mora. All right, thanks, Jannelle. Thanks, everyone. Bye.